Pete with IPA Physio, and I'm going to take you through a daily mobility routine for soccer players. The goal is to hit almost, if not every range of motion in the lower extremity. This can be done before or after training. Consistency is key. The more often you do it, the better. All right. So you can start with a deep squat, going down as low as you can. If you can't sit all the way down without support, you can use something like a bar or a countertop to get as low as you can. If you don't need that, don't use it. If you need to lift your heels at first, that's okay. But then use your hands to support yourself as you work on rocking back and forth to get that mobility and that stability in this position. If you're able to just be down there, then stay there for 15 to 20 seconds at least. You can rock a little bit back side to side, then come back up to standing. Then bring your feet a little narrower, and I'll turn to the side here. And I want you to, in a narrow squat, go down as low as you can, and then try rocking forward, keeping the toes extended so that you can get a good stretch underneath the feet with the toes in extension. And again here, with your weight back towards your heels, rocking back side to side so that you're getting a good stretch through the bottom of the feet. Now you shouldn't have any pain on the top of the big toe. If you have pain on the top of the big toe, don't push this too far. Keep your weight a little bit more forward and just gently work on this stretch without putting so much pressure through the big toe. But if you're comfortable, as far as no pain over the top, just a good stretch under the bottom, then you'll stay here for 20 to 30 seconds. And then I want you to rock back onto your heels and come back up to standing. All right, so in that we've got mobility of the feet, the toes, the ankles to a degree. One other position that's important is, if you go back down there again, is to sit back and let the front of the ankles open up as well. So spending a little bit of time here in plantar flexion of the foot and ankle, and again, rocking back and forth so that you're working with the toes pointing away as well as the toes dug under. Then the toes can come back under, rock back upright. All right, hip extension is the next place that I want to go. If you're in a kneeling position and you've got enough balance, you can support yourself, grab that back leg, keep your back straight, don't arch your back, and you're gonna grab the heel or the foot and bring it as close to your butt as you can. Same side arm can reach up towards the ceiling. As you're in this position, engage your glutes, engage your butt to drive the hips forward. Again, not arching the back, but trying to drive the hips further underneath you. Hold for about 5 seconds, relax, and you can repeat that for about a minute each side. I won't take the full time here with each repetition, but you can take these movements and spend more time doing them. All right, an alternative position here would be to rest that back leg on something so that you're more balanced. Back is, again, not arched or extended, but vertical. Front leg stacked, knee over midfoot. And again, engage your glutes to drive your hips forward, increasing the stretch through the front of the thigh. Reach that same side arm up. Hold for about 5 seconds. Relax. And then repeat. So you're getting activation of the glutes to enhance the stretch through the front of the thigh and that hip extension. Now you can progressively shift your weight forward, but you should maintain a slight forward angle of your trunk as you go forward, not to arch back. We're trying to emphasize the hip extension here, not the back extension. All right, so coming out of that position now, from hip extension, we're gonna go to open the inner thighs in a check mark position. Hands equal under you, one leg out to the side, and I want you to rock back till you feel a good stretch in that inner thigh. Hold for a few seconds, come forward. All right, rock back, come forward. Now you can also do like a cat-cow here, where you're changing the angle of your spine in relationship to the hip to add some mobility into the hip and the inner thigh. And you can also rotate your hand through and then up towards the ceiling to to add some variability to this. So again, I want you to go through some of these movements, see what feels good, what works well for you, and integrate that into a daily routine. So switching to the other side, rocking back and forth a few times. You can cat-cow a few times so that you're moving the spine over that hip. Rotate through, up to the ceiling, good for your thoracic mobility, as well as the hip mobility. All right, and again, you can spend more time there on your own. Now another position for your hip rotation and your hip capsule is a seated pretzel stretch. So you're gonna bring one leg underneath, one over the top like this. The leg that's got the knee up, your goal is to work on driving that glute to the floor. If you have really tight hips, it might start hiked up here. You wanna drive that down. And this is one of the least active of these hip and lower body mobility exercises that I'm going through, but you can keep it active by slowly moving on and off and trying to deepen that ability to get your hip onto the floor and weight bear equal between the two sides in this position. All right, and this is a good precursor to like a pigeon stretch that we'll do next and some other hip mobility that will come after that. So equal and opposite, going to the opposite side. As I start, my right hip's off the floor. I rock down, trying to achieve contact there. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds and back off. And then sitting back down into it, working on driving that right hip towards the floor. There shouldn't be any pain with this in the hips. Definitely no pain in the back. Just a good stretch. And you'll feel that stretch through the outside of both sides of the hips as you do this. Okay? So after spending a little bit of time in that position, let's take that into a pigeon pose with an active hip extension component. So if I'm in position here where I'm stretching the back of my left hip, my right toes are dug into the floor, and I'm gonna alternate pulsing that right knee into extension. And for the sake of time on this video, I'm just gonna go about 5 times, and then I'll switch sides. With this stretch here, notice I swivel my hips and then move over the leg. There should be no pain in the knee while you're doing this. Pulsing this knee about 5 times straight, so we're getting active hip extension on one side while we're stretching the back of the other side. All right, swiveling out, coming back up to neutral here. Now we're gonna integrate some mobility of the thoracic spine here. So if you lie on your side, knees can be stacked. Bottom hand supporting top knee. I want you to open up, follow that hand with your eyes, and follow that hand all the way around. Give myself more space here. Around your body to create a big circle. And knees stacked is a good place to start. Bottom leg straight, top knee down on the ground is a nice progression. Going nice and slow, working that range of mobility through your thoracic spine and your shoulder. I'll typically go about 5 to 10 times on each side. Again, flip it around, see from the back, top leg, knee on the floor, turning my head and my arm to rotate around. Again, give yourself plenty of space for this. Hopefully you got space on the ground at home. Rotating around. And again, about 5 to 10 on each side as you're doing this. Okay? Now, for those hamstrings, I like an active hamstring stretch where you can rest your hands on a surface. If you have a lot of flexibility, the floor may work fine. A yoga block, some stacked books. I'm gonna use this step here, but I'm gonna plant weight into my hands and my knees are gonna start bent. I'm gonna let my head relax down, and then I'm gonna pulse my knees to straight while I'm taking weight into my hands so that my back's not just suspended. And then I'll soften my knees. So I'll hold for about 5 to 10 seconds, driving my knees straight, head relaxed, back relaxed, weight bearing into my hands, and then letting the knees bend. Doing this for that 5 to 10 second hold and about 5 to 10 repetitions with a progressively lower surface. It's a great way to actively elongate those hamstrings, okay? Then the last thing that we'll go through in this series is hip rotation. And the internal and external rotation, just doing windshield wipers back and forth to start. Emphasis on dropping that trail knee down into that internal rotation position and feeling that hip articulate from internal all the way over into external rotation. If you're feeling good and comfortable, you can also do this without hands, integrate some more core stability and hip stability as well. And then I'll pause and come to external rotation of one side, internal rotation of the other side, but I tend not to be out with the foot like this. I'll bring the foot in so I'm on the top of the leg and work on a few get-ups here with external rotation of one, bias towards internal rotation of the other, just to work that rotation through range of hip flexion and extension. And then come on to the other side and work on 3 to 5 get-ups here. Again, consistency every day, more than a ton of reps any given day, is going to be key for you. So I hope that helps. Again, take the motions, the movements that feel good, integrate them into a system that works for you, and try to do a little bit every day. Thank you.